Hello and welcome to the third video in my Hoi 4 Back to Basics series, where today we're going to be talking about focus trees. The focus tree is something that makes a country in Hoi 4 truly unique. Well, most countries anyway. And provide the flavor for your playthrough. The focus tree should be seen as a kind of a mission tree that gives you, the leader of the country, the ability to control the direction it will go in. First, let's talk about the basic functionality of the focus tree. Every focus tree has one or multiple starting points. As you can see here in the German focus tree, there are multiple different focuses you can initiate at the start of the game. You can tell that they can be clicked by the fact that they are highlighted while the others are blacked out. The hard lines that connect the individual focuses are an indicator that the previous focuses must be completed before that one can be activated. If a focus has multiple heart lines going toward it, as for example the focus Integrate War Economies, it means that all the focuses that go before it must be completed before this one can be clicked. In some cases, however, a focus might have multiple dotted lines going towards it, such as Extra Research Slot. It means that only one of the previous focuses has to be done for this one to become available. Focuses usually take either 35 or in most cases 70 in-game days to complete. Upon completion, they give you a reward. This can be a bonus for researching technology, factories being spawned in a state, certain political advisors becoming available, a war goal given on a certain nation, and so on and so forth. In most cases, focus rewards are so powerful, especially in the early stages of the game, that not doing them would actively disrupt your ability to play the game properly. In other words, do focuses. You may notice that while you are doing a focus, your political power production is lower. This is because having a focus active reduces your political power gain by 1. In most cases, effectively halving it. With the exception of some very specific nations or cases, this is always worth the cost in the early to mid game. If you are close to reaching the amount you need for a certain advisor or decision, however, you can choose to hold off on doing a focus for 10 days without being penalized. You can see here that up to 10 days of focus time can be banked, during which you will gain that extra political power. After you have bought something with political power and select a focus, the days you've banked will automatically be added to your progression, and the amount of extra political power you spent will be deducted from your stockpile. Being in the negative on political power does not cause any negative effects and is thus never an issue. Sometimes you will find focuses being mutually exclusive, which means you have a decision to make. For example, in the German focus tree, you have the option to remilitarize the Rhineland or oppose the Mustache Man as one of your first options. If you read on, you will notice that this decision is crucial for your playthrough as it determines which focus paths you may take and which you may not, as they lead you to different ideologies and stories being followed. If you want a historical German playthrough, you remilitarize the Rhineland, and if you want to create alternate history, you can choose to oppose the current government. Most, if not all, countries have options in their focus trees that lead to different playthroughs for different ideologies, adding to the replayability value of the game. Sometimes, focuses require certain conditions to be met before they can be selected. For example, the Anschluss focus requires you to deploy 500,000 troops, of which 40,000 have to use infantry equipment. This means that you are simply unable to progress if you don't meet these requirements. Hence, if you are playing a country for the first time, it is often useful to read through the focus tree so you have an idea of what path you will be following, which focuses are the best to take, and what conditions you need to meet at which time. Last but not least, it is important to mention continuous focuses. Continuous focuses are unlocked after completing at least 10 focuses of any kind. Continuous focuses can be found in the bottom left corner of your focus tree and are accessible to any nation. Some of these focuses are not particularly strong, but others, such as naval production and air production, which boost stockyard output and reduce the cost of airplanes respectively, can be incredibly useful later in the game. If you are not in need of political power and find yourself out of useful focuses to do, I can recommend looking at continuous focuses and using whatever may be helpful in your situation instead. One thing that is useful to know, and often true, is the following rule of thumb. If you want to switch ideologies in your playthrough, it is best to start this process as early as possible. If this is not the case, any focuses that give you civilian factories are best taken as early as possible, when they have the most value. Ideally, you want to delay military factories until you start needing them, because the more military factories you have, the less civilian factories will be available for construction. And this will be explained in detail in a future video. If this video was helpful, feel free to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a good day.